Hello, for the lab of today, you have a problem like the one for the test, such that there is a flight booking platform, and this one offers the flights of several airline companies, such that for every airline company, you have a name, you have an address, a phone number, you also provide a rating. Okay, so you will have several persons who will use the services of several airlines, and you have the rating associated to them, as well as you've got a collection of flights. Then for every flight you have to provide a method which is add feedback, such that each and every client can add number of stars as well as a short description. Then for a flight, you will have the overall rating, which means that you need to compute which is the average value for it. Also, you have these flight features and they are all distinct, okay? So you do not have duplicates. And this is how you need to choose your collection. Then you also have the flights which are comparable based on name as well as based on the number of stars. And you will have to implement the needed interfaces for this, as well as you want to see how many times you have each and every flight feature appearing in your collection of flights. Also, you want to see the flight with the lowest rating. Let's see, creating a new package. I have lab 8. And we will start coding. Okay, you will have a simple rating because the rating is added for the flight. So this is the most isolated one. Rating, which is characterized by, you have a private in number of stars, as well as you have a private string description. For it, what you need to do is that you will have to create it. So we have this generate, you have the constructor based on them. All right, and also you have for it generate getter setter with everything. Now, when you want to add this number of stars and the description, what you should do, you can also add a criteria such that you usually have from 0 up to 5. So you need to check if your number of stars is less or equal than 5, as well as it is positive. So we have the number of stars greater or equal than 0. We can assign the number of stars. Okay. So this is how you assign it. All right. Good. Then this is a description for your rating. What you will have to do now is to write the flight. So for our flight, we have it here. And you see that you need to compare according to the name. So this means that you have to implement, okay, you have comparable of instances of type flight. Drag this one. Now what you have to do here is to also implement the method, which is compare to. Okay, this one will be later on written. And for this flight, we have the name, we have a private double, we have the overall rating. Then for it, we have several features, and you should not have duplicates. So you have a set of string, you've got the features, and this will be a new hash set, okay, of type string. Okay, and you add it in this way, and this one needs to be imported such that I can put a star over here to retrieve absolutely everything. Then for it, we also have an array list, okay, for all the ratings. Okay, and this one can have duplicates, So this is why we have an array list. All right, and we have it over here. Then what I will have to do is for it, I have the generate of my constructor based on name, okay, because the others are added. And afterwards you add the features and everything. Also, yeah, you have the getters, setters. So let's see, we will have to compute the overall rating. So it will be a public void, you compute overall rating. And what you've got here is that firstly, your total value, you start from the value 0. Then you need to go through all the values. So you will have a counter value, which is count of 0. Then you go through all the ratings, meaning that based on an object which is of type rating, you take it from ratings. And now what I will have to do here, total will be incremented with r dot get number of stars, okay, as well as it means that you have a new instance. So this is why I need to increment it. Then the value, which is in fact the overall rating, will be equal to what? I have my total value, my local value for this method, divided by count. And this is how you compute it. Then what I can do is that I want to add a feedback. And the feedback is added within the collection, the array list collection of ratings, meaning that I have a public and I don't need to return anything. So it's a void. And I have this add feedback. Based on what? I have my number of stars. Okay, let's put it number of stars to understand what I mean. String description. Okay, and this is to add feedback for a flight. Okay, for an object of type of flight, meaning that for ratings, okay, you have the add of what? You've got a new rating of, you need the number of stars, and as you can see down, you need the description, which is this one. Okay. Also, you want to update the score, the overall rating. So you will call the compute overall rating, which will be overridden. So you need to update here, update the overall rating. Okay, every time a new feedback is added. Okay. Then what I can have is to have the rest getters, setters. So let's add them here in case they are needed for your values. Okay. Then we have the compare to. The compare to is based on another flight, O for other. And let's see, based on, let's say that whether the rating is the same and you have the same name. So if this dot overall rating is the same as the overall rating of the other, okay, as well as the name, this dot name dot equals that one of other dot name, okay, then we have the same object. So we have a return 0. Else if we have this dot get overall rating to be greater than my other dot get overall rating, it means that it is after, so this position after it, meaning that you need to return a 1. Else it means that it's placed before, so you need a -1 as a return. And that's what you need to do here. Then another class that I need would be, which one? It's the airplane. Okay, for my airplane, which are the attributes that characterize an airplane? Well, I've got a name, then an address. I can also write it on the same line. I have a phone, and I have a rating, an overall rating based on all the flights that you have for this airline company. Okay, so this one, let's say you have several flights even between both destination, I mean source destinations. So they can be multiple and just the date changes. So let's have it as an array list. You have a flight. Okay, you have it as a flights. And you have a new array list flight. Okay. Based on it, I need my constructor. Okay, based on tuck, tuck, tuck. I don't need to set the array list because it's already empty. And then what I need to do is to compute this overall rating. So it's a public void compute rating. Okay. So again, I have a double total as being 0. Then I have an int count as being 0. So I need to count how many flights do I have for this airline company. And this means that I have a form. I have a flight f from the list of flights. And for it, my total will get an f dot get overall rating. So for each flight belonging to this airplane, sorry, this is the airline. Airline, sorry. Okay. Let's see. Is the rename effector rename file airline. My mistake. This can happen to everybody, so now you know how you can simply correct what you did with refactor, such that here you have the total of every rating and you will update your count variable. Then your rating will be updated as being what? It's total divided by count. Okay, and this is how you have it. Also, I will have to add flights. So it's a public void add flight, adding a new flight f inside the collection of flights, meaning that flights has an add of f. Okay, so you add a new flight for it. Okay, and what you can have is get the getters, setters, to int. Okay, based on that. Then we have a platform. Based on the platform, what I have are several airlines. Okay, which they exist in multiple countries. They have also one big headquarter, and then you have all the others. Okay, such that they can sell tickets from multiple places. So we have a list. We have this airline, or you can put it to be simply unique, and then you have your hash map with hash set. Okay, if you wanted to place it per country, but this is just your option. Okay, new means that you will have another field. Airline, but you already know how to do it from the other example. Come on, port. Okay. Then I would like to have a map with key value pairs such that for every feature, which is of type string, I have a frequency which is an integer. And in this case, I have my frequency It means that I have the pairs of feature and frequency. Okay, meaning that this is a new hash map of string integer. Okay, let's add a star here. Now everything is imported. Okay. Then what I need to do is to add a new airline. So let's have a public void add, and we will have an airline A, meaning that this is the airlines. We have an add of my airline A. Okay. Then I will have to compute this feature frequency. So as we add a new airline, we need to recompute the feature frequency. We have feature like economical places, whether you have the business class, how many seats. Okay. Frequency. Maybe you have some TVs, I mean the screens to watch movies. So it means that the previous values need to be cleared. And also you need to go through each and every airline. So you will have a 4. You have an airline A out of what you've got inside airlines. Then what you have inside an airline, you have several flights. Okay, flight F out of A dot flights. Okay. And this one. This is my flight display. Then I need to go through each and every feature, and it is of type string. I have a string flight already exists. Let's say S as a string as being f dot features. Okay. Then for it, you need to check whether it exists. So if frequency dot get of this feature S exists such that is different than null, what I need to do is to have a temporary value as being the key associated to this feature S, so I get the value. Then I will have to increment it because I did find it again, and my frequency will get updated such that I have the put of S and of the temporary value which was updated. Okay, so in this case, frequency gets updated by adding, by incrementing. Okay. Good. If it doesn't exist, then frequency will have put of S and 1. So you don't put the curly brace because you've got just this statement. Okay, so it's not like here when you have multiple statements and you need just to close it. So let's have the driver, okay, as being the one with the void main. And inside you will have several flights. Let's say it's flight 1 is being new flight of a generic airline 1. Okay, flight 1. Let's say. Then we have a flight 2, airline 1, flight 2. And let's say that we have another one, flight 3. Then for it, I want to have feedback. like flight 1, add feedback and say something like to acceptable. Okay, so you're not quite happy. F2, add feedback 3 and some generic like okay, abstract like people answer these days. And feedback, and so you have 4, and we see that comments that they are great, but they still give 4 and not 5. Okay, and they don't explain why. Let's see, F1 dot features. Then I want to add, and I say what I have, cup holders, for example. Then I have my F1 dot features that add, and let's say they have pillows. Okay, F1 dot features that add champagne. Okay, then I have F2 dot features that add again cup holders. Okay. Then I can have F2 dot features that add warm food. Okay. Also, I have my F2 dot add feedback. Thanks. Okay, and let's have this one, F3 drinks, and let's see, we have pills. Okay. Right. Such that we will have to compute the rating. Okay, so we have F1 dot compute overall rating. Then you have to add the rating. Okay, F1 flight 1 rating equals, and I will have to get it, F1 dot get overall rating. Also, what I can do is to create one airline. Okay, so it means that I will have an airline, let's say it's A1 is being new airline, and I will name it home. Okay, headquarters in Bucharest. And phone. Okay. Okay. And phone and double rating. This one is computed. I clean this one. Okay. Then what I will have to do is that for A1 I will have to add the flight, which is F1. Then the same I do for F2, F3. All right. Also, I create a new platform. P as being a new platform. Okay. Then for my platform, I need to add my airline, which is A1. And for it, what I can do is to compute P dot feature frequency. And what I can have is to do the C out of P dot frequency. So we have the flight 1 rating. Okay, so what I can do is say I have this one and this one. do the average. Again, it's 3. Okay. All right, as well as for each and every one of them, cup holders is contained also by the others. Okay, by these cup holders F2 and also F3. Warm food is just for flight 2. Drinks, it exists here and here, so it's 2. Pillows exist here as well as here, so it's 2. Champagne is just for the first flight, and cup holders in each and every one of them. So this is what you need to do for this exercise. So don't forget always what is important, even for that writing inside the file, you already have it with file output string. So this is the code which you know. But what is the most important part, okay, is when you have to detect which are the best suited collections, and then when you have to compute some statistics, average value, sums, to see how many times it appears, and this is what you need to do. So thank you for your attention and see you next time. Bye bye.